Play. People signing up for the COINTELPRO program, targeting someone. That would include the media, by the way. It doesn't stop at the community level. Science divisions are in this COINTELPRO play-to-pay programs. The media has been involved for years. That's why the anchor people are making $8 million to $12 million a year. That's that extra cushion cash that they're getting from pay-to-play. This is why you don't know about the rogue technologies, which are deep black programs that are harming you with the full intention to do so, such as the cell phone towers, the smart meter on your home that magnifies the radiation coming into your apartment. So outside of lesions on the brain of this torture program, it'll also cook your organs from the inside out. It's very horrific, very painful. You will have what they call micro seizures. That's where you'll shake uncontrollably, like you do when you have a cold chill, because you're being zapped. Your nerves are being zapped all over your body. And the pain comes out of nowhere. You can be feeling good and all of a sudden, boom! It feels like an electrical shock. And you will yell out because it's painful. Many cancers. We've lost a lot of people. And many suicides. Because the program that Q has talked about is the back end. The final. The big finale, if you will, of getting the target to do a fingerprintless crime against himself so that the whole crime is fingerprintless and no one gets caught. Because everybody's working play to pay in these secret boots on the ground programs. Not everybody. I mean, there might be a couple that you work with that aren't. But they hire from senior citizens to high school kids to people in the church. In fact, the church people are the easiest to manipulate and the first ones to sign up. Because they want to catch that pedophile. Huh? They want to catch that loose trollop. They want to catch that, that potential terrorist. Yeah. And who can't use extra money? Huh? $40 assignment? 15-minute assignment? Who can't use that? Hell, even the handicapped are getting involved. Even the handicapped are getting involved. Yeah. Their assignment is just to drive the car and go by the TI to let the TI know that they're being surveilled by honking at them. That's their only assignment, $40. Just to honk a horn. But you got to be available. And they, believe me, trust me, they have several within the communities that are ready to move and roll at a moment's notice to roll right past that target to honk at them. Can anybody say brown shirts? Gestapo? Germany? Brown shirts? And this has been going on in our community for 40 years. How do you think these people are voting? Anybody? When they're given these lectures of how bad the activism has gotten and how the Constitution is, the main people that brought up the Constitution were horrible people in themselves, and how the Constitution needs to be rewritten, and how Fusion Centers and Department of Homeland Security is well aware of these extremist groups called right-wing extremists who are wanting to protect the Constitution. When they get those lectures at their training centers, at the fusion centers, how do you think they're voting at the polls? Anyone? You think they're voting Republican? I don't think so. And mind you, they go under these psychological operations of training every week. Oh, and by the way, being that it's psychological operations, anyone wondering whether or not the psychiatrists are involved in this in any way, shape, form, or fashion? It's a good question. Because they're training the CBA agents, aren't they? Okay. So besides bleeding of the brain, seizures, micro seizures, Dr. John Hall from the Bigger Than Snowden website says that these are micro seizures. Uncontrollable shaking. They are frying your organs up from the inside, so you will get horrific pain because it hurts. You won't see or feel the heat necessarily every time that they go after and hit your organs. That's they're cooking them actually from the inside. When they cut up John Hall, Dr. John Hall, that's a doctor from the BiggerThanSnowden.com website, they had hit him in his heart. He had absolutely no abrasions on the outside of his chest, only on the inside. That's a rumor that's going on. Supposedly, it came from someone on the inside that knew him very, very well. But he has done a lot of videos on the side effects of, which it's not a side effect, it's an intentional weapon used to target constitutionalists, true patriots, true heroes, who continue, as I am, to put their life on the line. Because this isn't about, oh, well, I'll silence up to protect me. Because once you're on the program, you don't get out of the program, whether you're silenced or not. That's one thing I will tell you. So when you have that family member saying, you're doing the same thing, expecting different results, you just need to shut the hell up and they'll stop targeting you. That's not true. That's a lie. Once you're in this program, you never get out. Even worse for the CBA agents that wrongfully sign up or threaten to sign up, they don't even have the right to natural death. We have 120 million Americans that have signed up for that program. They don't even have the right to a natural death. Now, let's think about that. Where did this come from? This information came from Ramalda Kildi. She was the head chief science medical examiner of Finland. She was also a TI because she exposed this through conventions, just like Romola D does, and Karen and Stewart. William Benny Kirkweeby, I believe, had been at a couple of these conventions as well that we've had here in the United States, exposing this technology and these crimes. So with that being said, she was pulled to the side by MI6 intelligence out of England. And they sat her down and said, look, it's not just the TIs that are being killed here. The bulk of the killings that they're killing are the actual CBA agents. That's what they call them in England. The boots on the ground, harassment people that are getting paid to harass and stalk and punk these people out in the communities. They just get basically like a box and pull a number. It doesn't matter how long you've worked with the program as a community-based agent, how good you are, or even how many people you've killed, because you will be responsible for that too as well on the community-based agent side. This comes from Ramalda Kildi. She said they'll go out in groups of 4 on the community-based agent program, the other side of targeting individuals. There's 2 programs involved with this, just like there was in Germany. You killed them at the camps, and then you had the Gestapo program. We have the same thing here, okay? Don't misconstrue. It's the same fucking thing. You got your targeting through your remote covert weapons. That's the one program. And you got the community harassment Gestapo brown shirt program on the other end. Okay? But within the community gang stalking or harassment program, rather, they don't have the right to life as soon as that they sign up. Now, the only ones speaking out on their behalf, because it sure just damn straight ain't the TIs like me. I can bet your sweet ass. There's not many defending them right now. Because the job of the community-based agent is to roll out that psychological psyop so bad that TI will commit suicide. That targeted individual will commit suicide. And they will get you fired from your work. They will get the boss to sign up, the managers to sign up. They will do anything and everything, anything possible to manufacturing evidence against that TI, show court documents against that TI, show manufactured Photoshop pictures, videos, whatever they can do to prove their case in point as to why they're doing an investigation on that TI. They'll do it. They'll give it to family members, to workplaces. They'll give it to boyfriends, husbands. The TI is not allowed to have a support group by any means at all. No friendship. No collaborating with family and friends. No support system. Not allowed. And this is why the community-based agents are hired to go after and character assassinate like the media is doing with the president, you know, COINTELPRO, to character assassinate, sabotage, and make that TI look bad by any means necessary. That is their assignments. And there's a bonus sign-on bonus program. Each targeted individual will have anywhere from 60 to 150 people working just to surveil that one particular targeted individual. Romualda Kildee went on to say that not only do they, the MI6 agent, intelligent agent said that not only do they not have the right to life, a natural death, but they would be eventually, the CBA agents would eventually be killed through the water system and or the duct system. One of the things that they do, because they have so many people on the payroll, is they hire, you know, when the CBA agent is out doing their work, harassing a targeted individual or the target in the community, they are having their own home broken into, and they're putting old cans of molded black mold into the duct system. And when that CBA agent comes home, they end up dying, or they drink the water and it's poisoned and they die that way. And if that doesn't work, there's always Tawanda, as they say in Fried Green Tomatoes, the movie. There's always Tawanda, where they can come in and they'll just, the CBAs will have, you know, they have these safe houses where they have the meetings. They don't always have them at fusion centers. And they'll do their training. There's a lot of camaraderie, but it's all fake. It's a Trojan horse. But they're required to call each other, have parties, throw parties, do this, do that, do this. But basically, at one of these events, there'll be 4 people invited, and the 3 will kill the 1. And then they just go in for a blank slate. And technology, which they've been using in the secret space programs for about 40 years now. They can just use that technology, and then that person could be used for another murder down the road, because they don't remember that they've even done one. So there's no remorse. So the CBA agents, now we're getting to the point of which Q comes out and says something. But not against the CBA agents, but against the MK Ultra mind control Manchurian candidate technology. CBA agents, or community-based, boots-on-the-ground harassment program agents, are undergoing Manchurian candidate rollouts through the mind control weapons. Now, they go off the same towers, and that is what I wanted to tell you. They go off the same technology. So when you go to the themes page of qmaps.pub and you click on the theme page 2 and scroll down and go under mind control weapons, Q tells you that this technology is being used to formulate murders and Manchurian candidates for murders in the community. There you go. And secondly, that the technology is coming off of the cell phone towers. There you go. And that it is also being used at the school shootings and causing Manchurian candidates. And that crisis actors are also involved. Crisis actors, my guys, my dear friends, my dear ones, is part of the COINTELPRO community-based program. It hires crisis actors for crisis that we see on television, and actors to go after these targets within the community. They're all actors. Because they're acting in lieu to the fact that they want to friend that target, and then they get in and friend that target, and then they talk bad about that target immediately after. To all the colleagues, everyone in the community, and the target itself. They want the target indirectly to know that they are a community-based agent. That's the assignment. Because they want to run psychological harm onto the target to let them know this is a program they will never escape, never get away from, and never, ever, ever get released from. And that's the job of the person who's honking in the horn, passing the TI. Even though he's on a bus stop and he's stopped at 3 buses, but yet the honks continue. That is to let that target know that they're being surveilled and they're being targeted. It's not that the target doesn't know about all the things I'm telling you. Of course they know. It behooves them to understand what the program is that they're under so that they can fight it at any means necessary. Whether it's through spiritual or through connection to God and praying to kick out the pain attacks, or it's through shielding devices and or keeping journals and evidence of their community-based agents, which most TIs do, by the way. That's what they call a target, a targeted individual, a TI. So you have all these egregious things happening, but yet even the own CBA agents themselves, which is in the United States, 120 million. Boy, it's certainly not hard to influence somebody with going Democrat under that program, is it? Any means by necessary, from which to influence the vote. And of course, Anons are working their asses off to keep that stuff from happening, but yet behind the scenes, most of them, 90% of them, have no idea about what I'm telling them right now. They only know the MKL Ultra end of it. But in the end, a targeted individual that's undergoing MK Ultra themselves, the target themselves, they're using, there's 4,000 patents, by the way, to mind control and the different ways that they can go in and influence the mind. So one application is not the same application that's always dispersed every single time. There's the Manchurian Candidate one. There's voice to skull, which you will hear voices. That was used, by the way, according to BBC and CCTV, to flush out the Kuwaitis out of the caves. Remember that? All these people in the caves, how are we going to get them out? We can't get them out. Well, they used SSSS. That's silent sound spread spectrum. It means that they can put voices and sounds into the victim's head. And that's exactly what they did. And it scared the shit out of the guys. They came out of the caves crying. Many of them scared to death. Oh, and it can also induce suicidal intentions. So they hit them with a double whammy. And God knows the voices that they heard. They probably heard bombs going off all around the caves, but they thought which was around the caves, which it wasn't. Yeah, people dying and, God knows what voices. They could use any war scene and put in the, but they wouldn't know because they would think that they were hearing it through their ear, but it's actually coming through in the mind. But the voices and the sounds that you hear is as loud as they say, as a helicopter or a big jet plane flying overhead. They're extremely loud. So in the end phases, when they use voice to skull, or SSSS, silent sound spread spectrum technologies on a targeted individual, which is at the end stage because they want to kill them. They just want to get rid of them. So they put in this voice to skull 24 hours a day, including when you're sleeping. You don't sleep. But the time of which you should be sleeping, you will be hearing these voices 24/7 for about 3 months, and you're tortured on top of that. Okay, so you eventually end up taking your life. As you're irritable, you're discontent, you're not in right sound and mind, you're lashing out. I mean, this is the time of which they create Manchurian candidates, is it not? Do you remember the guy, the theater shooter? Do you remember the dazed look on his face? How dazed he was? Well, there you go. Manchurian candidate.